Starbane's Avenue.
Coming to you live from our houses in Los Angeles, California, it's Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone, your comedy field guide to life. Tonight, public transit. We're talking buses, light rail, subways, ferries. We can travel together across town, and it's a better ride. Jarrett Walker, interestingly named, is an internationally known consultant on public transit and the author of the blog Human Transit. He's with us tonight to talk about how to move people. Maybe you'll be moved to hop a bus the next time you're running an errand. Plus, Iceland. Last week, Toni and Bonnie Burns had teamed up to deliver an overview of the land of ice and snow. But our show ran long and they got a reprieve. They're back this week to give their group report on this island country flecked with Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone listeners like dots of volcanic ash on a field of snow. Bonnie, get your papier-mâché volcano ready to blow. I'm Adam Felber, the man who tries to ensure that our show's conversational train of thought makes all of its connections, stopping at each thematic junction until we find our terminus in coherency. And now, please welcome the woman whose topical caboose is always jumping the tracks and whose conversational streetcar forever barrels towards desire. It's Paula Poundstone. Welcome.
Hey, you guys.
Welcome,
oh, my
Paula.
gosh. It's so nice to hear all of your voices. You know whose voice I've really... I keep tweeting to Barbara Streisand, who writes a lot of political tweets, and I always agree with her, and I always say so when I retweet her. I say, I totally agree, and will you call me? And she doesn't, and neither does Cher, by the way, who I thought Bonnie was very close to, the way she told the story.
Yeah, Bonnie's been letting us down.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. I can't tell if it's a Keeping Up with the Joneses thing, that, like, Cher won't call me, so Barbara Streisand won't call me either. And I don't usually put my phone number up on Twitter, but I figured they're big enough in the business, they could just call anybody and say, get me Paula Poundstone's number. It's not that hard to do. However, I did last night just put my phone number up.
Where?
On Twitter.
You put your phone number on Twitter?
Yeah, and they didn't call.
But Paula, that's a really not smart thing to do.
You know what? Every time I've answered the phone, I go like this. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world.
Hey, speaking of music, Paula, we've been hearing some tonight already.
We've been hearing music? Yes, we have. And I want to thank tonight's house band, Christin, Phelps, Webb on the bassoon. Oh, my
Welcome
gosh.
back,
What's
Christin,
the matter
returning
with me?
champion.
Christin, please forgive me. I was so, I was so wrapped up in myself that I totally forgot to thank you. But thank you. That's wonderful bassoon playing.
Yeah, I'm sure Christin understands your thus far bootless quest for Streisand and Cher.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm so happy to have Christin with us. Fantastic. Thank you so much for being a part of our show. And this is her second time. Is that what you said?
I see. Toni Anita Hull, isn't Christin the bassoonist that we had back in the days when we were allowed to see people?
Yes. She has been with us twice before, I believe.
We love Christin.
I was thinking she was another bassoonist of all those bassoonists that we know.
We're big in the bassoon community, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think on the show, Christin is our go-to woman on the bassoon.
Well, thank you.
So Paula, what's new?
You know, I'll tell you something. I have watched so much news in the last couple of weeks that it's actually affecting how I talk, Adam.
Really? In what way?
Back to you.
Oh, thank you, Paula. I want to say that I've noticed some changes in your speech pattern, and I, too, have been watching a lot of news. I'm not sure if that situation will continue now that the election is over. We'll just have to wait and see. Paula?
We will at that, Adam. Thank you so much. It's been a long few weeks. Now, Adam,
slog.
we did a show one time. That's all I want to say. No, we did a show one time where we talked about the stuff that we meant to get done that we never did.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that show.
At the beginning of the pandemic, which, by the way, I have not enjoyed nearly as much as I was hoping to. At the beginning of the pandemic, I thought, well, silver lining kind of thing, right? I'll read.
Right.
I'll clean off my desk. There was that time where you sort of, take it in your teeth and you figure, okay, but what can I do? Let's be positive. And, my desk is twice as high in paper bilge as it was, at the beginning of the pandemic. Read? What a silly idea that was on my part. All I have to do is hold a Mother Jones near my face and I fall asleep. A Mother Jones magazine. Any kind of reading, just like a word or two, and I'm out like a light.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the depression or if it's just like not able to focus on anything. And then the other thing I realize is there's so many things that you're supposed to do for an hour, right? You're supposed to read for an hour a day. I don't know who made that up, but you're supposed to exercise for an hour a day. You're supposed to walk the dog
book
for
made
an
that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. You're supposed to walk the dog for an hour a day. You're supposed to write every day. You're supposed to eat a good breakfast every day. I'm supposed to train the dog every day. And we had a terrific organizer on the show one time who said, take 20 minutes a day and do your desk if it worries you that it piles up with stuff. I haven't run the numbers here, but the day is over. if I did all that, I can't. And what frustrates me more than almost anything else is that I can't keep up with the dust. And you probably know this, Adam. What percentage of dust is skin?
Almost all of it.
Well, then I must have almost no skin now.
Well,
because
I'm guessing you're just growing skin really fast here during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, I would grow skin faster than another time?
Well, you are talking about the amazing amount of dust you have in your house. But then again, Paula, I have to say that maybe your house has a higher percentage of dust that is not human skin because your house has lots of cat litter boxes. And that stuff is dusty.
Oh, maybe that's why the cats pee on me sometimes. They do, by the way.
It's entirely possible. I know. Well, you sleep on the floor.
Well, I sleep on the floor. In the old days, I slept on the floor in the living room, and then I moved into my bedroom because they kept peeing on my head, and it's just a terrible way to wake up. So, So now I sleep, with a door between it, like they can't come into my bedroom. But if I move to a Winnebago, which I'm seriously considering, I don't know where there'll be the partition that keeps them away from me. I may just smell really bad all the time.
Did you just suggest that you're thinking of moving to a Winnebago?
I think about it. Yeah, I think about it a lot. One of my concerns is that I'm not sure how good I would be at driving a Winnebago because I can't park.
I'm really
even
sure
a
how
Prius.
good you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm really sure at how good you'd be at driving a Winnebago.
Yeah. I think I would just have to keep going. I would just have to drive and drive and drive. Like the idea of parking is probably out of the question. I just have to stay awake and unless I just drive off in the country or the desert somewhere and just, like Breaking Bad or something, and just pull over, but just stop, not like
pull over somewhere
park.
And make meth.
If I have to. If you're doing it for your family, it's okay. That's what I learned from that series.
I learned that from there too.
All
right. Let's throw this around the horn. Throw things open to let's first head all the way up. Down to Studio City and Toni and Anita Ho.
Why I don't understand this. Captain Crinkle and Toni, why do you guys always sound like you're about to get a shot?
Because I don't have anything. I'm not prepared.
Well, I haven't even asked you yet, so save it. Toni Anita Hull.
Well, Toni Anita Hull's in Sherman Oaks, Adam. Did you forget?
That's right. Toni Anita Hull, give us your update. You're no longer in Studio City, right? Have you completed the move?
I did complete the move. I'm in my new apartment as I speak. So that's exciting.
So she's not really. She changed her fake background, and she believes that she's in another apartment. It's kind of sad.
Do you want to describe the setup to us, Toni? I mean, you used to be perched at a little shelf/desk in the kitchen.
Well, my dear friend Lori got me a new desk as a housewarming gift. So I'm at my new desk that I put together at 9:00 last night. And yeah, I'm facing a wall, but I'm near my sliding glass door. So I've got, sunlight when there is some coming in. It's good. It's very positive.
Wow.
No, that sounds nice.
Very positive.
Oh, it's very positive?
It's very positive. It feels very zen.
Toni, what's happened to you?
It feels, it's good energy in here. I still need a sage to reset the energy, but
You still need what?
Sage the apartment.
Yeah, they don't know about that. I'm pretty much willing to guarantee you.
Toni, were you in some sort of retreat last weekend? Were you in a sweat lodge or something? What the fuck happened to you? I need a sage and there's positive energy. What the hell?
It's a new me.
I guess. I'm near my sliding glass door with my sage and my positive energy. And it's zen. I don't like it.
Well,
I'm just sitting here with my Smooth Move tea and my Breaking Bad DVDs. What is this sage thing?
So they have sage that you light and it clears out the energy in your space so that you can allow new energy in.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, I have heard of this. It's
everyone I know sages. It's it's a good thing. So if you are getting creepy vibes or you just feel negative if you have a big fight in your apartment with someone, you sage it so you can start anew.
It's like an Indian native custom.
Oh,
Native
yeah,
American custom,
sure. I'm sure that's a Native American custom. Wojhilo. That's another white person thing that they say that Native Americans did.
No, they do it
No, they don't.
It's well known.
It's well known by whom?
There's a sage. There's a
Googled
sage
it.
brushy looking thing.
Oh, great. Toni Googled it.
Googled
Now
it.
she's getting back to herself.
There you go. I also Googled 80% of dust is dead skin. I did Google that while you guys were talking about it.
80.
So, Native Americans.
According to my math, according to my math,
right.
that means I have 20% of my skin left. Go ahead.
Native Americans, and this is the first thing that comes up in the Google search. I have not done extensive research. I just want to preface this by saying that. Native Americans and other indigenous peoples have burned sage for centuries as part of a spiritual ritual to cleanse a person or space and to promote healing and wisdom.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
So there you go. And I have other good news.
There's more good news? What is
My
it?
cruise was canceled.
Yay!
All right. As longtime listeners know, Toni Anita Hull went on a cruise just as the COVID time started. Somehow managed to live through it, even though she cried most of the time because she wasn't getting along with her cousin. And then she promptly booked another cruise, which we told her was about the dumbest thing she could do. And
I did find out my cholesterol is high, everyone, too. I have a lot of updates.
How did you find that out? When the
I went
EMTs came after you burned the place down with the sage? How did you find out your cholesterol's high?
She's fine, but she
got
needs Lipitor stat.
Tony, how did you find this out by moving to your new apartment?
Some of those co-op boards are very demanding, Paula.
Yeah, you've been asked to move out now as a result.
All right. I feel like we're just going to have to let Toni go through some changes while we head up to the Simi Valley for everybody's favorite unprepared producer.
Can't wait for
Paula's manager,
Iceland report
Captain
later.
Crinkle Bonnie Burns.
No, Toni Anita Hall has become a big surprise because remember when we first hired her, which was how long ago? Like a year and a half or something?
2 years.
Easily
It's been
50
2
years.
2
It's
years.
been 50.
Yeah. And she just seemed so innocent and
Turns
she
out
has
now.
evolved. I mean, we heard about the underwear on the couch and watching the Kardashians. And before we started the show, we always, have a few minutes. We talk about what we're going to do. And she happened to reveal, what was it? Her favorite show was this Below Deck, which frankly is so low as a reality show. I
no,
won't
it's
even
not.
pay attention to the name. And that's after you said that you have a subscription.
You won't even
to
pay attention to the
Cosmopolitan.
name? What does that even mean?
No, because I know it's like about these blonde, big boobed girls that are competing for some guy, and
No,
it's
it's
just
not.
like
That's the
Poison
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
American.
Hold on.
No,
Guys,
it's not.
I
No,
wanna-
stop.
I'm going to cut in here, and I'm going to mediate this because Bonnie.
Adam,
Yes.
if I can break
You
in
there
here,
now?
this is Paula Poundstone live
go
in
ahead, Paula.
Santa Monica.
Yes.
What's going on there?
Paula, we're having a mediation situation. I'm negotiating between Toni Anita Hall and Bonnie Burns, and we'll return to their clash over the show Below Decks after this. Paula.
Adam, Bonnie, Tony.
Okay, so Bonnie, what do you have?
Okay, what do I have? All right, I'll throw this out. So, I am really puzzled about what to bring up. This won't go anywhere, but my daughter has gone. Maybe this will be helpful. Maybe this will be helpful.
It's so refreshing to get away from Tony's positivity. Go ahead.
Okay, maybe this will be helpful. So my daughter's gone back to college and everything's online. And, some of these classes, like the assignments due at 11:59 p.m. and then the teacher suddenly changes it and goes, okay, it's 12:01 a.m. or something. It's hard to keep track of that stuff. So she read an article about a way to keep yourself organized. And there was something they called the 888, which was you should get 8 hours of sleep a day, spend 8 hours on homework and 8 hours for your personal life, which actually sounded like a good way to get organized. However, I said to her, I need to adapt it to what I would need, which was 14 hours of work, 6 hours, I think, of sleep, and then what's that leave you? 4 hours on your personal life, which would be a little too much for me. But I never get my personal stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why dwell on
wait.
the personal stuff?
Can we just back up a little bit? Did you just say that sometimes the teacher says that the homework has to be in by 11:59, and other times she says it has to be in by 12:01, and that so your daughter needed to get organized as a result of am I correct about this? A 3-minute difference?
No,
That's
okay.
2 minutes, Paula.
Or a 2-minute difference is really throwing her off?
No.
Shit. I could have had it in by 12:01, but not by 11:59.
No,
Wow.
okay.
That
Here's
is some
the thing.
precise fucking homework.
In all fairness, turns out it's to get the prompt of what the test is. You had to do it in this certain time frame. And I have a feeling the teacher's got kids or something. She's having to put up with that because she changed it at the last minute. And
It's 2 minutes.
No, I get it. But apparently a big majority of the people in the class didn't realize that the lady had changed it to 3 minutes after 11:59 p.m. And none of them, they all logged on and they couldn't get the prompt. So the woman had to put out an email and change the time.
Well, there's only one solution for that, and that's 8 hours sleep, 8 hours work, and 8 hours personal life. That's the only solution to a 3-minute problem like that.
No, I kind of get it, but
I don't get it at all.
I think what it was supposed to be was that, I don't know what it was. Whatever it was, a lot of them got it wrong.
Well, Bonnie, I feel like once we finally figure out what you're talking about here, it's not going to be that great.
No, you know
Okay,
what,
I'm
Bonnie?
running out of shows to watch, but I'm not going to watch Below Deck.
When I hear you talk, I realize that not just
And
Trump,
then smack at
but
Toni for no reason.
many presidents missed the boat by not nominating you as a Supreme Court justice, because when you just began, the clarity and the argument, the way you assemble it, and when you began by saying, "In all fairness," and I think that we want all of our justices to begin with that. In all fairness,
It just lets you know right off the bat that you're going to be completely fair.
exactly.
Okay, here's one of my new tricks. So,
Okay.
like on my regular phone, I've put a message that if you want to speak to me, call and I have the cell phone number down. And that way I've gotten rid of a lot of people that don't want to really bother getting a hold of me and all the robocalls.
Yeah,
It's
there's been
eliminated a lot
any
of-
of number of times that I've called you and I got that message saying call my cell phone, and I just didn't.
Well, there you go.
You know what? This feels like a perfect time for me to ask Paula Paula, do you have a word this week?
Adam, I'm here in Santa Monica and I have a word.
All right, this just in, everybody. Paula Poundstone has a word this week, so we're just going to throw right over to Santa Monica and see
I
if we
don't
can
know
check in
if
with
you
Paula
can-
and see maybe if we can get some kind of idea what that word is. Paula?
I'm happy to tell you, Adam. It's good to be with you, and I don't know if you can hear, but there's a good deal of excitement behind me about the word. Adam, the word is specious. It's an adjective, Adam, that means seemingly reasonable or plausible, but actually wrong.
If you're just joining us, Paula Poundstone has just let us know that this week's word is specious. It's an adjective that means reasonable, plausible, but actually wrong. For more on that, we're going to go right back to the source in Santa Monica, Paula Poundstone. Paula?
Adam, thank you. Here I'll use the word in a sentence. Just to recap what I said earlier, specious is an adjective that means seemingly reasonable or plausible, but actually wrong. Here I'll use it in a sentence. I wiped my hands on my pants so they're clean is a specious declaration. You know, Adam, there's only one way I have a shot at remembering this word.
What would that be, Paula? Oh, I think I know what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, this is just breaking right now from Santa Monica, California. Paula Poundstone is taking out her glockenspiel, and I think we're going to get some sort of contextualization of her new word within her vocabulary song. Is that correct, Paula?
That's right, Adam. This week's word is specious. Adam, there's a good deal of confusion going on here in Santa Monica. This week's word is specious. It's an adjective that means seemingly reasonable or plausible, but actually wrong. I remember words because I put them in this song. Last week's word was simulacrum. It's a noun. Its second meaning is unsatisfactory copy or substitute. I want a cookie, not a fruit. The week before that we had rapacity. It's a noun that means aggressive greed. The filthy rich are still in need. Going back before that, the word was putative. It's an adjective that means generally considered as or believed to be. The national anthem was written by Francis Scott Key. And not long ago, we had asseveration. It's a noun that means a solemn or emphatic statement or declaration. If we're too stupid to wear masks, we're all done. Let's never forget gallimaufry, which I pronounced wrong until nobody James Hyder corrected me. It's a noun that means confused jumbler medley of things. Hodgepodge, who's podge, hodgepodge. Adam doesn't think my song is replicable, replicable, replicable. But I do, I do, I do.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
And there you have it.
Who's Fudge?
Over to you, Adam.
Thank you. There you have it from Santa Monica, California. Paula Poundstone has sung this week's vocabulary song, which usually means we're coming to the end of our first segment. So I want you all to invite you all to stay with us. We'll have more from Paula Poundstone in Santa Monica, also from Sherman Oaks in the Simi Valley. We have our other correspondents on hand. Coming up, Colombian politician Gustavo Petro said, "A developed country isn't a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transport."
Adam,
yes?
I'm sorry to break in, but we're high above Sherman Oaks right now, and we see a fire down in a small apartment. It's I'm in the helicopter, and there's a smell of sage in the air. Is that possible?
Paula, it's completely possible. We were talking to Toni Anita Hull in Sherman Oaks earlier. She was burning sage to clear the energy in her new abode. That's probably just that, nothing more.
There appears to be a shitload of bad energy coming out of a small apartment in Sherman Oaks right now. Bad energy and also smoke. Thick, black smoke, Adam.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Now, to repeat what I was saying before, Colombian politician Gustavo Petro said, "A developed country isn't a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transportation." Okay, we'll ride that information trolley to better public transit when we return on Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone. Paula?
Adam? I'm often looking for something to offset a lot of the crap that I eat. And
Right.
So I got the Orgain protein powder. Now, Orgain has all kinds of organic products to fit your active lifestyle, and I am that. Nutrition shakes, protein powders, meal powders, bars, and even almond milk. Orgain products are food-based, well, I would hope, and full of organic vitamins and minerals that taste delicious and provide maximum nutrition. Now, I am a flavor person. I don't like spicy, but I like sweet. And I gotta tell you, the protein powder stuff, I think I have the vanilla bean flavor.
Yeah.
It's delicious. It's easy to make, it's quick to drink, and you feel good.
The chocolate is good, too, and I like the little prepackaged shakes that you can get. They look like adorable little milk cartons. You drink them down right before you exercise, and you just feel better. At least I do.
And Orgain promises to never use unnecessary fillers like artificial ingredients, preservatives, or GMOs. Oh, I hate GMOs. They're all about good, clean nutrition.
Plus, Orgain ships right to your door. You can also set up recurring deliveries to get your favorite products delivered for free. Thanks to Orgain, I finally found the best clean products to help keep me healthy and maximize my nutrition. If I'm yelling, it's because I have that much energy. And right now, you can save 20% off your first order. Plus, when you subscribe, you can save even more. Just go to tryorgain.com/Paula20. That's TRYORGAIN.com/Paula20 for 20% off your first order, plus extra savings when you subscribe. Try Orgain.com/Paula20. Hey everybody! This season, give the gift of comfortable, washable, and sustainable shoes and bags from Rothy's. Have you heard about this company making the stylish, sustainable shoes and bags? They're carefully crafted with eco-friendly materials like repurposed plastic water bottles and marine plastic. I love that someone's doing this.
I do too. You know, for a while, I was just taking empty water bottles and putting them on my feet, and it just wasn't stylish or comfortable. Rothy's shoes are incredibly comfortable with zero break-in period thanks to their seamlessly knit-to-shape design. With many chic styles to choose from, Rothy's shoes are the perfect present for anyone on your list.
Spread some holiday cheer with the newest Rothy's styles like winter-ready shoes, brand new bags, and washable masks. It is mask season, every season. And with Rothy's gift card, you can let your loved ones pick the perfect present.
Yeah. I'm a sneaker kind of a person most of the time, but with sneakers, you have to stop and tie them, which frankly, sometimes I don't even have time for that. And so what's great about these is you slip them right on, and you can throw them in the washing machine. There's sometimes where I'm so damn busy, I don't even take them off. I just put them in the washing machine with my feet in them.
Yeah, that's probably not a wise idea. Find out why Glamour named Rothy's one of the top gift ideas you can't go wrong with, and why Allure says Rothy's is the eco-conscious gift you'll see on every list. Plus, Rothy's comes with free shipping and free returns on eligible items, so you can gift without worry. Check out all the amazing shoes, bags, and masks available right now at rothys.com/nobody. That's rothys.com, rothys.com/nobody.
Style and sustainability meet to create your new favorites. Head to rothys.com/nobody today. On this day in unremarkable history, Nazi Minister of Propaganda Joseph Goebbels wrote his own epitaph, which said, "I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive."
Thank you, house band Christin, Phelps, Webb. Wow, that's some bassooning. That's some bassooning nation. Paula, a few weeks ago after we had a parking lot design expert John Purinton on the show, I understand that you received a message from a nobody via our Facebook page.
Yeah, I did. They said if you're going to have a parking lot expert on, then you really should have the guy who does the blog Human Transit. So I said, let's do that. Because that's the kind of argument I put up about these things. No, it seemed like a great idea to me. And I don't remember what listener it was, but whatever nobody that was, thank you so much. Great idea.
Great. And you're going to see why it's a great idea right now, because the creator and author of the Human Transit blog is indeed on the phone with us. Jarrett Walker is an international consultant in public transit network design and policy based in Portland, Oregon, where they got themselves some public transit. He is president of Jarrett Walker and Associates and the author of Human Transit, How Clearer Thinking About Public Transit Can Enrich Our Communities and Our Lives. Please give a Paula Poundstone welcome to Jarrett Walker.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jarrett.
Thanks very much. Great to be here.
Thanks so much for being with us, Jarrett. Before we begin, I just want to ask you, how hard was it to claw your way to be the president of Jarrett Walker and Associates?
Yeah, I don't think I actually clawed up it so much as pushed it downward.
I mean, we've recently been through a difficult presidential election, and then you hear about an easy one like that.
Yeah.
President of Jarrett Walker, president of Jarrett Walker and Associates.
Yeah, it's sort of reminiscent of the way I became emperor of Phelptopia.
Well, lots of people when they get started in consulting put and associates after their names when they're just starting out in their garages. And so for a few years, I said that when they asked about my associates, I said, well, they're basically voices in my head, but now they're actually people.
Yeah, my company is Paula Poundstone and Hangers On because I've had so much of that. All right, look, I'm ready to jump in right away. What Jarrett Walker made you interested in this work? Is it possible that it was because of your last name is Walker?
No, I don't think so. I think it's because I was taking the buses across Portland, Oregon to school every day. And I had the sort of brain. You see, there is a particular kind of teenager who memorizes geography compulsively and whose mind fondles geographic information.
Wow. I don't even know where my driveway ends. All right. So for those of us who know nothing about this, what are the elements of an ideal public transit system?
I can't tell you that without using my particular notion of what ideal is, and there's no shared notion of what ideal is. So when I go to work as a consultant, I have to ask the community, I have to ask people their hard questions about what their definition of success is, because otherwise you don't want me to just come in and use my definition of success, because that might not be yours. I don't live in your community. I got no business telling you what your definition of success should be. So, I mean, it's a typical example, right? If you listen to people talking about their transit system and, calling up the authorities and making demands about their transit system, you'll hear people saying, why aren't there more people on the buses? And you'll also hear people saying, why doesn't the bus go by my house? And more precisely, they'll say things like, I can't walk down to where the bus stop is. The bus really needs to come closer to me. Or I live out here in the country and I'm at the end of a long dirt road, but hey, I pay taxes too. Why doesn't the bus come to me? And so there's a trade-off between concentrating service in the places where there are lots of people, which builds up frequency, which means the next bus is always coming soon, which means the service is likely to be useful, or going absolutely everywhere and providing a little bit to everyone. But if you spread it out, you are spreading it thin. And if you spread transit thin, you've got a bus coming once an hour and almost nobody finds that useful. So we're always going into communities and saying, hey, look, there's this trade-off. Do you want high ridership or do you want to go everywhere? And I sit back and let them wrestle with that, because my job is to make clear that there's a moral judgment that has to be made. And I don't make moral judgments. But
Granny can walk a block or two. Come on.
I want your community to have that conversation. I want you to have that conversation with your granny, and I'm happy to implement whatever you all agree on.
She just disowned me.
I think, I understand that when the pandemic is over and we get businesses back up and running, that American Airlines is planning on changing to more of the I pay taxes entitlement system, where they are going to drop people off at their houses. Yeah,
That'll be very convenient.
Something I'm looking forward to.
All right.
Adam, over to you.
Thank you, Paula. This is Adam in Valley Village, California. Now, Jarrett, once you've decided what kind of coverage you want, what's your feeling about the best way to do that, to choose what your vehicle is?
Well, that's another huge question that I can throw back at the community. Why do you want whatever exciting technology you have in mind? I mean, streetcars, light rail, monorails, Elon Musk's little tunnels, whatever it is that excites you. Why do you want that? And often you'll press on that and you'll discover that people have defined the technology as the goal rather than as the tool. So I always ask you, right, which comes first, the tool or the goal? Do you pick up a hammer because you want to pound a nail, or do you look for a nail that will let you use your hammer? Because that's the fundamental problem of technology. Technology is so exciting, especially technology that someone has patented. Because if it's been patented, then it's called innovative, right?
Right.
The word innovative means somebody will make money off you buying this, right? That's why bicycles, for example, are not innovative, because they're in the public domain and no one will get rich if you buy a bicycle. Of course, if something's patented, that means there's lots and lots of money being spent to make you love it. And all that money is being spent to make people put the tool before the goal, right? To make people treat the tool as the goal. And so that they go around saying, we need light rail. That city over there has light rail. We won't be a real city unless we have light rail. And before you know it, every city has light rail. And that may be good. That may have been the right tool, but that may not have been the right reason. So we always ask that, because there's another way you could approach this, which is to say, we really want people to be able to go places so they can do things. And if that's what you wanted, and if that was the most important thing, then you would actually let us choose the tool that actually does that best, rather than forming strong opinions about what tool we should use.
Yeah, but you might say buses, and buses aren't exciting.
Buses aren't exciting. And
I love Greyhound.
But that's, it's very easy to spend a lot of money on a rail line that doesn't get anyone anywhere any sooner than a bus line could have done. The example of that we have in North America is called the streetcar stuck in traffic, the new streetcars that have been built around the country in the last, 20 years or so. It's been a bit of a fad. And it's, you replace a bus stuck in traffic with a streetcar stuck in traffic, and you haven't improved anyone's ability to actually go anywhere. You are just stuck in traffic more attractively.
But don't streetcars have a bell?
Yes, and when you're driving down a busy street, and you've got your stereo on, and you're blissed out in your own world, how much would you really be affected by a bell? You would need a siren.
No,
Yeah,
I
especially
just
since
meant.
in my car I tend to listen to nothing but trolley bell music.
Yeah, I just meant. I just meant it gave people something to do. You know, ding 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 ding.
The other thing they tell themselves is this thing is permanent because there's infrastructure. You know, a bus could change. It could change tomorrow. It could go somewhere else. But this thing is infrastructure. It's in the street. It's permanent.
That brings us back to the whole Roger Rabbit thing.
Oh, yes.
Which is like the history of it. And so my prejudice is, and tell
Wait a
me
minute,
if I'm wrong
back
about
up.
this.
Wait, you just said it brings me back to the Roger Rabbit thing, and then Jarrett said, "Oh yes."
Yes.
What am I missing? How is
I will
Roger Rabbit related to this conversation?
The reference is in the movie Roger Rabbit. The bad guys are representing the automotive and asphalt industries who are assiduously buying up public transportation, in this case, the Los Angeles streetcar, in order to make the way for giant highways so that no longer will there be public transportation. It'll be everybody driving. And historically speaking, it's not that inaccurate, right, Jarrett?
It's quite exaggerated. Their public transit in those days was being run by private companies as though it were a profitable business. And what happened is cars. What happened is that there began to be more and more cars everywhere. The cars competed with the streetcars. More importantly, the cars got in the way of the streetcars because nobody had thought of giving streetcars exclusive lanes because there was nothing to protect them from in the beginning. And the streetcars got slower and slower. And so as a business, they were falling apart anyway. Also, you've got to remember, those streetcars were invented before we really had buses as we know them. Mm-hmm. But, we've spent the last century practically, 80 years, building streets everywhere, building expanses of asphalt everywhere. And so it's important to be able to have a tool that actually can use that infrastructure, and that's what a bus is. If we had built rails everywhere, it would be different.
I'm learning a lot, and thank you, Jarrett. But what stands out to me right now that I've learned is that I didn't really understand Roger Rabbit. I guess I don't remember it very well. I have no memory of any of what you guys were talking about. But doesn't Elaine Chao, who's Secretary of Transportation,
she's not in Roger Rabbit.
Isn't she? No, she is. She got melted.
Okay.
Isn't wait? Isn't
her husband has been Her husband has been reelected. I don't know that she's been melted yet.
He has been reelected, but surely he'll melt eventually. You can't be that tallow and not melt.
Oh, he's already melting.
Yeah, he is melting. All right. Wait.
Melt.
Now we're getting off topic. Damn it.
Elaine Chao.
Elaine Chao isn't her family in pavement?
I think I'm not. I would have to go look that up. I'm not your expert on who did what to whom and what everybody's motivations are, but I think that's
bullshit.
That sounds
You
right
knew
to
all
me.
about Roger Rabbit.
I want to say Lewis Mumford wrote, "The automobile city is the anti-city, which annihilates the city wherever it collides with it." Stay tuned to find out more about the alternatives to the automobile city. The cat of the week is Mimosa from Washington, D.C.
Get fresh, pre-measured ingredients, and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door with HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh lets you skip those trips to the grocery store and makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable.
Easily change your delivery days or meal plan preferences and skip a week whenever you need to right on the app. Keep your fridge stocked by adding extra meals or added proteins, quick meals like breakfast on the go or their 10-minute lunches, and even desserts to satisfy that sweet tooth.
No such thing. No such thing as a satisfied sweet tooth. HelloFresh is committed to donating to those in need. So far, in 2020, they have donated 3.5 million meals. You can help too with HelloFresh's Beyond the Box program, where you give nutritious meals to those experiencing food insecurity with just a couple clicks on the app.
HelloFresh is the first global carbon-neutral meal kit company. By skipping the grocery store and using HelloFresh, you're reducing your food waste by at least 25%. The packaging HelloFresh uses to ship your food is almost entirely made from recyclable and or already recycled content. And the meals are fantastic. I mean, we've been over this before, but Paula, I made a Southwest chicken sausage and rice skillet with salsa fresca and lime crema, and it was just fantastic. Everybody in the family dug it.
Oh, I think I told you this before, but it turns out, I do like couscous. And the thing is, because I had like the farro that I had one time in a HelloFresh dish, I decided to trust them on the couscous. And it turns out I loved it.
Well, that's really good.
Go to HelloFresh.com/90Paula and use code 90Paula to get $90 off, including free shipping.
That's HelloFresh.com/90Paula. That is an amazing savings. And use code 90Paula to get $90 off and free shipping. We're back with public transit consultant Jarrett Walker. Now, Jarrett, just when we broke, you were on the cusp of getting to a point about what we do with these new infrastructure funds.
Mm-hmm. So here's the interesting thing about infrastructure. There's lots of infrastructure that we need. There's also lots of infrastructure that we need to maintain. And one of the problems we have is that it's much more fun to cut a ribbon on a new thing than to cut a ribbon on folks maintaining the stuff you've got.
Well,
that's an eternal famous problem in public works. The other deeper problem, though, is that transit infrastructure just doesn't work the way road infrastructure does or other kinds of infrastructure do. And it's an important difference. And a lot of my engineer and architecture friends, they come to transit, they're really interested in it, but they're bringing an unconscious assumption from their world of buildings or roads. When you build a building or you build a road, it's done and you can use it. When you build a rail line, it sits there and then you have to run trains. And that's a difference because what it means in transit is that the cost of operations is bigger than the cost of building it in the long run. The cost of operations is very high because you have to pay someone to drive all these buses and all these trains. And once you really wrap your head around that, it really starts making you think carefully about what kind of stuff we should build. The other interesting thing then is that buses are so profoundly useful at just getting lots of useful mobility to people using the infrastructure that we have, which is the road system. And I've seen repeated studies. There was a study here in the Portland area a while back that said, the number one transit investment that we could make to reduce greenhouse gas emissions would actually be to run buses a lot more frequently. Don't build anything. Just buy a bunch more buses and hire a bunch more drivers and have a whole bunch more buses. Buses coming more often.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Would you get more riders, though?
Yes, you would. You would, and moreover, you'd get other things you can measure. You'd get the ability of people to get to more places sooner, which is the very essence of how a city functions. The whole purpose of a city is to put people close to jobs and opportunities. And the measure of how close they are is really travel time. Can you get to work in a reasonable amount of time? If not, you can't hold that job. And so when we measure how many useful places people can get to in a given amount of time, we're measuring their freedom fundamentally. We're measuring the choices that they have in their lives, but we're also measuring the very essence of the functionality of the city, which is the people's access to opportunity. Now, the interesting thing about that measure, just measuring where can people get to in a given amount of time, technology really has nothing to do with it. It's the pattern of routing and services that has to do with it. It doesn't matter whether you run rails or tires if you're going the same speed.
Well, let's talk routing, because this raises a very interesting question, which is the life of a city. And a lot of people talk about this a lot nowadays. To me, seems to be improved by getting vehicles out of the way, whether they are buses or cars or trains. I love the elevated tracks. I love the subway underground. And I love the Big Dig in Boston, which just took a whole highway and put it underground and reunited a city that had been separated by vehicles for at least 50 years. So does that figure into the equation?
It sure does.
It's not just about moving people. It's about people's quality of life being great where they are.
But, you said something important. You talked about getting out of the way. And there's a huge moral question in that, which is who should get out of whose way?
Well, usually I know like a lot of, for example, in 101 Dalmatians, and this should be a way that you guys can understand this, there's a time where Cruella de Vil is driving and there's people in her way and she just honks really loudly and yells, "Get out of the way, you imbeciles." And so it would be the imbeciles who have to get out of the way.
Exactly.
In that instance, it would absolutely be the imbeciles.
It's not because they're imbeciles. They're actually being rational. She is threatening to kill them, and they are doing what people do when you threaten to kill them. No, that's important. That's important because that's how our streets work. Our streets have evolved. The streets that have evolved around car dominance have fundamentally evolved around the danger of cars. And cars get all the space because if you get in their way, they will kill you. And therefore, we all stay out of their way. And therefore, they get more and more space.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow.
Because, you had this phenomenon all the time, of the parent who thinks, gosh, there's so much traffic out there. I can't let Johnny walk to school. He might get hit. So I'll drive him to school. Mm-hmm. Everybody does that. And now everybody's in cars. And now it really is dangerous to walk to school.
Well, there are sidewalks.
It's this.
Couldn't Johnny be taught to stay on the sidewalk?
Johnny has to cross streets.
Johnny's not bright.
Johnny has to cross. Johnny can be a genius. He still has to cross streets. And honestly, Johnny's safety depends not on how good a driver you are. It depends not on how good a driver 95% of us are. It depends how good a driver the worst 5% of us are, because that's enough to kill him. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen film and TV? All the time in films and TV, you'll see a shot where the shot is from the passenger seat and you're looking at somebody who's driving, right? And they're talking. Mm-hmm. Notice how often that person looks at you instead of looking at the road. And every time that happens, I think, you're going to hit someone. You're going to kill some innocent person.
And if it's the first scene of a movie, often they do.
There you go.
From my point of view, I'm a big bicycle advocate. Mm-hmm. I love bikes. And it seems like there's been a massive, massive change over the last 20 years in terms of how you can ride bikes in urban areas in ways that you absolutely couldn't have 20 years ago.
Absolutely. It's a very exciting thing. It started out, the cycling movement really began in this country with the athletic cyclist, the young cyclist who was willing to take some risks and willing to get out there and sort of act like a car and assert his rights in the favor of all this traffic. And the reality now is that cities are increasingly trying to get lots of people on bicycles. The Dutch, who are the most cycling mad country in the world, say that when they design their cities, the design cyclist that they're thinking of is a 60-year-old woman with 2 bags of groceries. That's who they want to have on bicycle. And so the new generation of cycling infrastructure is slower but much, much safer. So, for example, you're starting to see cities build the bike lane between a row of parked cars and the sidewalk instead of next to the street, next to the traffic.
I'll be able to join in when they build the bike path with a path of foam on both sides.
You're not an able bicyclist?
I ride a bike like Alice from the Brady Bunch.
That's the thing.
And I used to be a bike messenger in San Francisco when I was young. But I took a bad fall one time, and somehow it never leaves your head.
You were a bike messenger in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Maybe you ran into me once. I mean, literally.
I might have. No, I don't think I ever hit any pedestrians. I did hit a pickup truck once, And it was entirely my fault. I was really exhausted, and I made a left from a right-hand lane. And I just went right up on this guy's hood. And there were two guys in the truck, and I think they had to take the day off work. I was fine. And I think I was so tired that I was floppy, and so it didn't matter. And I didn't get hurt. But the poor guys, and I said it was my fault, right? Because a cop came over. Like it was the cop happened to be nearby and saw it. So he came over. But in fact, it was just me being a shitty bike rider. And it was really lucky that it wasn't the other way around.
It was. Because they had a bigger weapon than you did. They could do much more damage than you could. And today, that's really the moral question that's coming up in cities and talking about the streets, is who has the moral right to that space. It can't just be who has the biggest weapon. Can't just be who's in the position to kill other people. The way motorists are, it has to be a more moral conversation about who all needs to be able to move in the city, who has a right to the street. It's a fascinating debate. It's a philosophical and moral debate. It's not just a technical one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, actually, in Santa Monica, the laws can't change quickly enough for what's going on as a pedestrian right now, because we're trying to stay away from one another because of social distancing. We're all walking our dogs, and there are many, and most dog walkers have figured out that on a leash your dog is squirrely. We're trying to avoid cars, but there's so many pedestrians that it's perfectly acceptable and common for us to step off of the sidewalk and just walk on the street.
Exactly.
And then we just expect that, the cars will go around. But there's no rules anymore other than stay away from each other.
And that's why a lot of cities have been, in the context of the epidemic, have been converting parking strips into additional pedestrian space. Things like that, to acknowledge the fact that we need more pedestrian space now that we have to be further apart. Fundamentally, this is all about sharing. This is just like we teach our children to share their toys. We have to learn to share space.
In Santa Monica, there's up on a street called Montana Avenue, which is, frou-frou. The restaurants, and I want them to stay in business, but they have taken over the sidewalks. And so, I'm walking by with my dog, and I'm practically on top of them. And so one of the things that I'll do, certainly in the morning, is just grab a croissant off their plate while I walk. And my feeling is, just like you said, it's a sharing issue.
Yeah, you're entitled to that if you're walking by with your dog and they're in your way. Absolutely. I don't think anybody would argue that.
A lot of times then I'll walk back the other direction and I'll say, do you have any butter?
I think that might be pushing it, because then you come back and you stop the flow of traffic.
I know. On the other way.
I think you're entitled to their croissant, but not to their butter if you've forgotten it the first time. Well, I can't. Well, we can't move forward without asking another question that's in our preliminary research with you. Is that you're supposed to tell us a parable, the parable of the elephant and the wine glass? Is that right?
That's right. So we live in a world. If you follow conversations in my field, you will just see everybody slinging data all the time, and in the kinds of plans that I do, data folks are always coming and saying, "Now look, you've been flying blind until now, but now we can run these regressions and we can show you, based on what everyone's smartphone is doing, how many people are going from here to there at 7:30 p.m. and how many of them are left-handed and how many of them are nobodies who listen to Paula Poundstone, and we know all this stuff, and you can put all that together." And what I tend to find is that a lot of us are intimidated by sheer quantities of data, and it makes us shut up. And so, or what's more, the data gets aggregated into statistics, and there are so many different ways to aggregate data into statistics that you can write a book full of statistics that will prove anything. So the data work's very important. I'm not against studying data, but there's something missing there, and that's the ability to think about what we really know, to think about what we don't need data about. So I ask you this question. How many adult elephants would fit in a wine glass?
Adult elephants.
I'm going to say 0.
Right. I bet everyone listening to this knows that the answer is either 0 or a very tiny fraction.
Well, I have to confess,
or
I
a very
Googled
big
it.
wine glass.
No, now, yes. Now we have to do all those things for all the smart people. No, we're not talking about near a black hole.
Near a black hole would be different.
We're talking about right here in the world at the human scale with what you and I all understand to be an adult elephant and an ordinary wine glass. And the answer is 0. But the thing is, the feeling you have about the answer to that question, I bet that feeling is impervious to data. I bet that if a scientist came in a white coat and said, actually, we've done a meta-analysis of studies of this problem all over the world, and the answer is actually 1.4, how would you react? How would you react if someone told you that 1.4 elephants can fit in a wine glass?
I'd invest in wine glasses, probably.
You know, I wouldn't believe them.
If someone claimed that my elephant wine glass answer was a specious argument, I would disagree.
You would, because you're really sure about how many elephants fit in a wine glass, even though you haven't done the experiment. We do not need to take wine glasses to the zoo and actually do this experiment. And that's important because it means there's a class of things that we all know that we don't need data about. And it turns out those kinds of things tell us a lot more than you might think.
Give me an example.
Cars in a city are a great example, okay? The problem of elephants and wine glasses is the problem of cars in a city. A city is lots of people in relatively little space, which means a city is, by definition, a shortage of space per person, which means a city is a problem of sharing scarce space, like a wine glass. Well, cars are big. Cars consume a lot of space for every person, and by seizing a lot of space for every person, they mean there's not enough space for everyone. That produces an effect called congestion. But we don't need to do any studies about congestion. We don't need any data about congestion because it is an elephant wine glass kind of problem.
I see. So you're saying it doesn't matter how much data that people mount to try to prove to us that cars are an awesome thing to have lots of in the middle of a city. We just know that's not true.
You know that's not true. We didn't really need to do this experiment that we've all done of packing lots of cars into a city, just as we didn't need to take wine glasses to the zoo to actually verify how many elephants fit in a wine glass. This is theoretical thinking, and it's almost forbidden in my field these days, but I like to pipe up, and because I tend to find that if I talk this way, ordinary people who are intimidated by data can nevertheless get this. This is what they often call common sense, and it turns out to take us a long way in my field.
Well, we're glad that you piped up. Jarrett, well, thank you for giving us a busload of information about public transit. Great to have you with us. And now we're going to take a pause. We're going to take that information and run it through the old Poundstonator. Paula?
Hey, Christin, who we like to think of as our bassoonist. If I can get a little background music, I'll tell you what the Poundstonator spit out. Jarrett, that was fantastic. You've left us with so much to consider. I may have to rethink my Winnebago fantasy to meet not just my needs, but the needs of my community. Hey, Grandma, it's just me, Paula Poundstone, here to pick you up in my Winnebago. Come right on in here. Just move that cat off the little couch, sit down, and make yourself comfortable. You see, Grandma, if the bus goes to everyone's house, we can't have enough pickup times around the city. So if I drive you to a stop, your wait time should be very short. Nah, don't thank me. We're all in this together, and we've got to share our space. There's a bathroom in the back there, but stay away from that golden retriever / Newfoundland. She looks nice, but she's mean. And look carefully before you flush. My cat Wednesday sometimes jumps in the toilet to hide when you're not looking, and she really fucks up the plumbing. Oh, hey, are you okay? Sorry, I should have been watching the road. Can you get up there? Boy, you landed right in the cat food, didn't you? Could have been worse. I've got 9 cats and 2 big dogs in here. I should sage the place, I guess. One of those daredevil bike riders just pulled in front of me. Hey, asshole! You see that bike on my roof? That's because I still haven't pulled over since the last cyclist pulled in front of me. Grandma, do you mind just pushing play on my VCR? I was right in the middle of Who Framed Roger Rabbit before I picked you up. It's about transit infrastructure, as it turns out. Well, we're almost to your stop. But I can't park this fucking thing, so get ready. I'm going to slow way down and you jump. See you tomorrow, Grandma!
He is the author of the blog Human Transit and the president of Jarrett Walker and Associates, international consultants on public transit. Thank you so much for being on our show. Jarrett Walker, just wonderful to have you here.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Paula.
Thanks, Jared.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Jarrett, you were wonderful. Thank
Great
you so
fun.
much.
Coming up, Iceland. Won't you listen to our show? Join Toni and Anita Hull and guest traveler Bonnie Burns for an audio tour of the land of ice and fire. That's coming up after this.
All right, I'm not proud of this, but I'm all about the sweet stuff. And so I've been eating Magic Spoon cereal, and it really hits the spot. If it can hit the spot for me, it tastes good. This episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon. Growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid. But I had to give it up because I realized it was full of sugar and junk that you really shouldn't eat.
And you don't abide by that sugar anymore. That's right, Paula. Magic Spoon has 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net grams of carbs, which is just ridiculous, in each serving. And it comes in 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry.
It tastes great, honestly. Too good to be true. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. I hate GMOs.
Paula, you're really anti-GMO. Paula,
Yeah.
What's your favorite flavor of Magic Spoon cereal?
I like the fruity one. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I like the fruity. Yeah, I like the fruity one.
It tastes a lot like a cereal that is otherwise represented by a toucan.
Yeah.
Go to magicspoon.com/Paula to grab a variety pack and try it for yourself today. And be sure to use our promo code Paula at checkout to get free shipping.
Boy, that's cryptic. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product. I love this part. It's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. Boy, that's risky. I don't mean because of the cereal. I just mean the happiness part. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. That's magicspoon.com/Paula and use the code Paula for free shipping. We thank Magic Spoon so much for sponsoring this podcast. Adam, we have a new sponsor, and it's Kitty Poo Club, and I am so excited because I haven't been out to a club in so long, but I bought some high-heeled shoes and a short little dress, and I'm putting sparkly stuff on.
Paula.
Yeah?
Paula, that is... I happen to know that's not that's not the kind of club that Kitty Poo Club is. Kitty Poo Club is if you have a cat and your cat uses litter boxes and you don't love cleaning and sifting, and I think you fall into all those categories, don't you?
Yeah. But Adam, I already put sparkly stuff in my hair, and I've kind of sprayed it so it doesn't move. And
Now,
what is
Paula
this?
Poundstone, you scamp. Kitty Poo Club is an all-in-one litter box solution designed to be convenient for you. Every month, Kitty Poo Club delivers an affordable, high-quality, recyclable litter box that's
Well, wait a
pre-filled
minute.
with the litter of your choice.
That sounds fantastic, but I'm not dressing up for that. Do they
you
have
don't
meetings?
have to.
Does Kitty Poo Club have meetings? Am I the secretary of Kitty Poo Club?
No.
Do we have an agenda? Is there an
No.
agenda?
No,
Let's poo.
You just get litter boxes. Paula, the litter boxes are leak-proof, eco-friendly, got a fun design for every season, and when the month is up, just recycle the box and Kitty Poo Club will automatically deliver a new one to you. No changing used litter, no more cleaning the box, and you can customize your order based on how many cats you have, in your case 9, in my case 1, but she's a big eater, and what type of litter they prefer. And Kitty Poo Club has a no-risk guarantee that you can easily customize or cancel anytime.
Well, that sounds fantastic. That would make dealing with the whole kitty litter thing so much easier. And it'll give me time. It'll save me time. Because, I sift 4 or 5 times a day now. and have for years.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
this will free up time so that I can go to the kiddie poo club at night. I mean, I would still want to stay 6 feet away from people and wear a mask, but
Again, it's a different kind of club.
Oh. Okay. All right. Right now, Kiddie Poo Club is offering you 20% off your first order when you set up auto ship by going to kiddiepooclub.com and entering promo code Paula. Just go to kiddiepooclub.com and enter promo code Paula to get 20% off when you set up auto ship. That's kiddiepooclub.com. And don't forget to enter promo code Paula at checkout. You know, there are some advertisers that believe that you have to say the same thing several times in order to get people to be clear on it.
Yeah, well, Kiddie Poo Club is justifiably excited about the auto ship thing because, you know, with the auto shipping thing, with various products, I don't always think, well, I'm going to need that every month because maybe I'll be eating less or going out less or whatever it is that their product is. My cat's pretty regular. I like the idea of auto ship. There isn't going to be a month where I'm like, no, you know, she didn't really poop that much.
Yeah.
That's kiddiepooclub.com, promo code Paula for 20% off. Fun fact, during your lifetime, you will spend around 38 full days brushing your teeth. So, this pandemic is a great time to get all that out of the way. We now join the French President Trump weekly press conference in front of the historic Watergate Large Irrigation Solutions building in progress.
Thank you, Mr. President. Toni Romo with ABC News. Mr. President, some people on Fox News and some leaders in the Republican Party have said that you need to be given time and space to accept your loss. Why are you different than any other office holder who gets voted out?
I am very different, Toni Romo. I come from a long line of unprosecuted criminals, cheats, and bullies. We have always been able to buy people off or threaten them to get what we want. This shit is very jarring. I am not only losing the presidency, I'm losing a way of life. Next question.
Mr. President, Mr. President, sir.
Yes, you, right there, that little man.
Your Honor.
Yes, you.
Your Honor. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Jimmy Tingle, Beacon Hill Press. Mr. President, why don't you just admit you've lost, sir? Your childish behavior is damaging your legacy.
My behavior is not childish, and I will not leave until I have pooped in every drawer in the Resolute desk and created a lasting foul smell in the Lincoln bedroom and colored myself onto every presidential portrait in the whole White House. Take that, you poo-poo head. Next question.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, sir.
Yes, right there. Yes, you.
Your Honor.
Yes, you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tom Snell from CNN again. Sir, have you thought about where you will have your presidential...
What are you saying? I cannot hear you. Take that mask off.
Mr. President, if I may, I think what my colleague is trying to ask is where you will have your presidential library.
I do not understand.
Your presidential. I'm sorry.
Presidents house their papers in a presidential library.
This press conference is over.
Alrighty, Toni Nita Hull, are you here with me?
I am here.
Yeah, you know, we search the globe for places where people listen to our podcast, and we give fellow nobodies around the globe, an audio tour of those countries to get to know them. And we've decided to do something a little bit different here. We don't know how many listeners we have. Usually we do going in. But Paula and I have made the dubious decision to team you up with Bonnie Burns, make this our first ever Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone group project. So, Paula, do you have anything to say about Iceland before we actually learn about Iceland?
No, I'm certain we have a shitload of listeners there.
Okay, but all right, that's something to know about
I've
Iceland.
never been there. I don't know anything about it, but I just have a sense that
You
it's
have a feeling.
that it's a great marketplace for us.
Well, it might be. It might be. We're about to find out. So, Toni and Bonnie Burns, are you there? Are you ready? You got your binder and everything?
No, I'm ready, and I have
Present.
I have my 3x5 cards ready. I'm all ready to go.
All right,
ready.
then. Toni and Bonnie, what can you tell us about our listeners in Iceland?
Okay, so I'll start. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
So there is a penis museum in Reykjavik. It contains a collection of penises from over 200 different mammals, including one from a man.
Wow. I wonder,
Now-
was it assembled voluntarily?
That is
Or
an
is it just
excellent
like
question.
somebody's room? I am familiar with this penis museum. I've never been there, but I saw about it in the news about a year ago. Because
Oh, yeah, you
apparently
looked
they
at
have
it in the news.
They
Yeah.
had an address that is easily confused with another address. So there's this apartment building or something in Reykjavik where they have put a sign on the door that says, "This is not the penis museum."
Oh, no, everyone, this is the little bit I know about Reykjavik. Everyone in Reykjavik has that sign on their door except for the museum. They have "This is not the penis museum" T-shirts. They have "This is not the penis museum" oatmeal. It's a big marketing thing there. This is not the penis museum. It's a brilliant idea. In fact, it's a well-known compliment to a man when a man and his partner first get naked together for the woman or perhaps the man's male partner to look upon him and say, "That should be in a museum." It's very common.
I'm not sure about that, Paula, because I feel like
Yeah.
that could go so many ways.
Yeah, no, it's a very common compliment. Yeah. That's all I know about
Just so you
Reykjavik.
know, the human penis was obtained in July of 2011. And
Whoa.
the detachment from the donor's body didn't go according to plan. It was reduced to a grayish brown shriveled mass that was pickled in a jar. And the museum continues to search for a younger and a bigger and a better one.
Wow.
Oh my
Is that like
God.
on the brochure, Toni? Or this is
So that was the post-mortality equivalent of saying, no, the water's just really cold. It's not supposed to be that shriveled and gray.
yeah, wow. That was and that did you get that directly from the curator? Yeah, it should have been bigger and more fleshy colored.
Okay, I have
It's
one.
actually shocking to me. How hard is it
Wait,
over
I'm
9
not done
years?
with my part yet.
I know.
Wait. Adam was talking about the penis museum and he just said, "How hard is it?" What? I don't think you understand the museum.
I got cut off. Oh, man, now I said that. How hard is it over a period of 9 years to find a dead guy with a penis? I mean,
Well, they have to be a donor. They have to want to donate their penis to the museum, and maybe they have the right
have to
penis
pop a
might be
donor.
out there.
yeah.
I would gladly donate my weenus to a museum. And I would do that while I'm still alive.
All right, Toni, go on.
Babies in Iceland are routinely left outside to nap.
Now, how do they mean that? Just why? Do we know why?
You'll go to like a cafe and the moms will be inside and all the babies will just be in the strollers outside sleeping in the cold.
Well, what if they wake up? What if they climb out of those?
What if it's cold?
I think it's the cold's good for them. Maybe. I'm just speculating now and guessing. I have no fact.
Well, don't worry about that.
Are you talking about human babies or bear babies?
But no, babies. Human babies.
Can't say I ever did that with my kids.
This is...
Anyway.
Yeah. No, I could see where the cold would be good for them.
Yeah, I think it's good for them.
You can get carried away with that, but yeah.
Sure.
Okay, and then there are no mosquitoes in Iceland.
I love that.
That's not surprising.
Or, okay, no, that's not true. The mosquitoes in Iceland have no penises because they're all in the Reykjavik. So they're not able to procreate.
They can't reproduce.
Right, but there are mosquitoes. They're just deeply ashamed.
Because of the extensive mosquito wing in the Reykjavik Penis Museum.
Yes, it's huge. Not the actual mosquito penis, of course, but the wing. Yeah. So there are no mosquitoes. Well, I love that because, we had so many mosquitoes in Sudbury, Massachusetts. We had one of those zapper things for a while, and it was just never quiet. It was just kind of like, yeah. So I so far, I'm thinking about parking my Winnebago in Iceland.
That's not a bad idea.
You might want to buy it there rather than have it shipped. Toni, what else?
So actually, I'm going to pass it to my group project partner, Bonnie Burns.
Remember, you get a group grade, so keep that in mind.
Now, absolutely true. And Toni, I don't want to criticize before the report is over, but leading with the Penis Museum really leaves you nowhere to go.
Well, I don't agree.
True.
We have this
But Bonnie Burns, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Okay, so you're right. Iceland is a very desirable country, and their national anthem was written in 1944 when they voted to end their personal union with Denmark. And the name of the anthem is Lofsungor, and it was written by Svenborg Svenborgesen, and he did the music, and the lyrics were by Matthias Jokemak Madsen. And here I have a little bit to play for you now, and
Bonnie,
I will translate what they're singing.
Could you tell us something we don't know?
I know. And your pronunciation is atrocious. That's going to be on your grade, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
So
Great.
I'll translate what they're singing. O God of our lands, O our land's God, we worship thy holy, holy name. From the solar systems of the heavens bind for you a wreath.
Wow. You're able to translate that?
Yeah, I looked it up. I had to look it up.
No, wait, no. What language do they speak? Is it Icelandic?
Yeah, Icelandic. But the children learn. They teach English and Danish as well as Icelandic in the schools. I could be making all this shit up, and you guys wouldn't even know the difference.
I would know a little bit about this. Hey, I saw the Sugar Cubes in concert before Bjork went solo.
Oh, that's right.
That's what I always feared in my high school history class. I thought, well, how would we know? We just have this guy telling us shit. He could say anything. So, Toni, you, of course, talked about the Penis Museum, the world-famous Penis Museum. Bonnie, what can you tell us about Vagina Village?
They don't have a Vagina Village, but you can travel around the whole country on a single road. And the water is very clean. The water is very clean. You can drink right out of a stream, a tap, a waterfall, or a lagoon.
Wow.
Bonnie, is that because it's all glacial water?
Is it all what?
Glacial water. Is it all from glaciers? Is that why it's so clean?
I think it's clean because people don't throw shit in the water.
I'm going to stick with glaciers for now. Go on, please, Bonnie Burns.
Bonnie.
Now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Toni.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Thank you. Okay, so
God damn it.
Hey, Toni, can I just ask you a question?
Yes,
Toni,
of course.
did your mother have to drive you to the podcast today because you had a big poster?
And Toni, let me ask you a question. How much more apprehensive were you about this one because you knew you had a lab partner in the person of Bonnie Burns?
It's been a pleasure working with Miss Burns.
Oh.
We had a really
All right,
good
well, go
time.
on. Continue your
It sounds like
presentation.
No, it sounds like Bonnie really did some good investigative reporting to find out that the water is clean because she thinks they don't throw shit in it.
Yeah.
Exactly. How many Icelandic people did you just talk to them on the street and say, "Would you ever throw shit in your water?" And they said, "No." And you went, "Well, that's why it's clean." All right. So, Bonnie, did you have some more
No, I'm turning it over
information
to
there?
my colleague for her section of the report.
Bonnie.
Oh.
You know what, Bonnie, though, I think you should share with them the T-shirt you found in the Penis Museum. I know we
Really?
weren't going to.
It was,
Okay.
This is not the Penis Museum.
Okay, so I'll give you some insight. One of the things that's unique about Iceland is their humor. And many people say that Icelandic humor is an acquired taste. And some people that visit the country say that they find it hard to even know what the punchline is. So I pulled some examples. I pulled some examples of Icelandic humor. So one of the things Toni wanted me to tell you was, this is a slogan on a T-shirt that's for sale at the Penis Museum. And it says, "This museum is not for pussies."
It's a good joke.
But wait, I have better ones. Okay, wait. And this
Yeah, you know, it's funny you mentioned that because over at Vagina Village, they have a T-shirt that says, "No dicks in here."
Okay, this one incorporates the history of the country. So in 2009, they had a terrible economic crash. And then, you know, the country has 21 active volcanoes. And in 2009, besides the economic crash, 2 of the volcanoes erupted. All right. So here's some 3 Icelandic jokes. "Don't fuck with Iceland. We may not have cash, but we've got ash."
This does not strike me.
That's pretty weak right there.
No, this doesn't strike me as like somehow difficult to understand because we're not culturally Icelandic.
No, that's a lame joke.
It's a fine joke.
Well, I didn't think it was that bad. Like when people said it's hard to understand when they get to the punchline, maybe my delivery's better.
No, I was clear on what the punchline was there.
Okay.
So wait, so say it again, Bonnie. So say it again. What was it?
Don't fuck with Iceland. We may not have cash, but we've got ash.
So, all right. Yeah. So because that strikes me as something that you could say here and that everyone would get it. Where there would be like some sort of cultural, like how, maybe if the emphasis, like if you said, "Don't fuck with Iceland, we may not have cash." See, that would be confusing if they put the emphasis on "we," and then people you didn't even get to ash if you just went "we may not," and people went like,
Right. Whoa. Bonnie, do you have any other examples of Icelandic humor?
I gotta give you. I have 2 more. Okay. Iceland's volcanoes have been deemed to be weapons of ash eruption.
Of ass eruption?
Yeah, weapons of ash eruption.
Yeah, okay. I don't think that understanding that joke has anything to do with being Icelandic or not.
No.
Hold on. I've got to go out and get my baby. I left it outside.
Yeah, go right ahead, Paula. No, that joke is literally trying to make us think that ash eruption sounds like mass destruction, and it's just not close enough to be a good joke.
No, I don't
got
think that's true. I thought it was a poop joke.
No, I got
No.
it. Okay, here's the last one.
No, it's a mass destruction joke, Paula.
No, I think it's poop. It's a poop joke.
I thought it was
Absolutely not.
kind of
100%
clever.
not.
Okay,
No,
this one.
ash eruption. No,
Yeah.
that's a poop joke.
Weapons of ass eruption is supposed to sound like weapons of mass destruction.
It's not ass
That's the
eruption.
joke.
It's ash eruption. No, it was a poop joke.
If you're an Icelandic listener, you've got to settle this one for us.
No, which one of us owns a Patagonia jacket? I think I do.
But that's nowhere near Iceland.
Doesn't matter. I understand them.
Okay, here's the last one.
Chile?
This one requires some thinking.
Adam, do you have an automatic ice maker in your refrigerator?
I do.
In your freezer? Well, see, I make
Yep.
my ice myself. Who understands Iceland better? I think I do. Ash eruption was a reference to a poop joke. Go ahead, Bonnie.
No, it
Absolutely
wasn't.
Okay. Thank you, Bonnie. When you've lost Bonnie Burns, you've lost America and Iceland, Paula.
It absolutely was. And by the way, Iceland, that's 3 really good jokes.
Okay, here's the last one that requires a little thinking. First, Iceland goes bankrupt, then it sets itself on fire. Can you smell an insurance scam?
That's not bad.
No, but Bonnie, you didn't say it the Icelandic way, which is first Iceland, what was it?
Goes bankrupt.
All right, first Iceland goes bankrupt, then it sets itself on fire. Can you smell an insurance scam? And you're going to stop at the you, and then Icelandic people are like, wow.
Okay, I just have to say one final thing because this is really interesting. They have, wait, no, this is really interesting.
Toni has an Icelandic sense of humor. All you had to do is say they, and
No.
she was doubled over.
They're one of the happiest and safest countries in the whole world. The police don't carry guns. The average life expectancy is 83.5 years. And the U.S., the average life expectancy is 78.5 years.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Of the 78.5 years, 78 of it is miserable.
Yeah, no, I know. Right, and they're happy in Iceland.
They're happy.
And here's the very last thing that I have.
Yeah.
So, okay, one of the drawbacks, because everybody talks about how great it is to live in Iceland, is it's very sparsely populated. It's the 180th smallest country in the world, okay? And everybody knows everybody's business. So you know how there's a saying like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? In Iceland, the saying is what happens in Iceland stays with pretty much everyone in Iceland.
Now, okay. I think that's a great expression.
I think it is.
And if you were telling the joke correctly, it would have been what happens in Iceland stays with pretty much. You just
Yeah. You got that Iceland. Paula, you're ready to play the Reykjavik Chuckle Hut at this point.
Yeah, I think I should. I really think I should. Here, I'm not able to work in theaters here anymore because of the pandemic, and Bonnie is doing her damnedest to get me on gas station TV, but it's not going that well.
But Iceland, that could open up a whole new land for you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, that'll be
I
great.
could do really well in Vagina Village and the Penis Museum. Oh my gosh. And the T-shirts I could write.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tony's going to take you home.
Tony, bring us home with this report.
Oh, cool.
I love
where
that
was
idea
I?
of bring. I love that idea of bring us home. I kind of picture like two kids in like the 5th grade doing a project together, and one of them stepping aside and saying to the other, "Bring us home."
I expect jazz hands.
Yeah, right. All right, Tony, go ahead.
Okay. A majority of Icelanders believe in elves.
That's fucked up. That's
why they can't find a regular sized penis.
You know what? I think Putin put that in there. That's like propaganda. That's bullshit. They do not.
That's the
They
now,
do.
Paula. That's on the other end of the spectrum. The worst thing you can say in a bedroom when you're first getting down with your partner is, "Are you part elf?"
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. That's just ridiculous. They do not.
No, 62% of the nation believes that the existence of elves is a real thing.
You know what?
Wow.
I think there's voter fraud in that. I want to
Fake news.
recount. I want to recount on that. I have no evidence, to be honest, but I still wanted to go to the Icelandic Supreme Court. That's ridiculous. They don't.
We're really
wow.
creating a culture of inclusion for our listeners in Iceland. Rob,
Yeah, that's a good point, Tony. We're kidding, Iceland. Wait a minute. We're kidding, Iceland.
There you go. Now they get the joke. Tony, was that your grand finale?
No, but it's okay.
No, go ahead.
go ahead.
What do you got? What do you
Tell
got?
him the rest
Kind of
that
a-
you had.
Raw puffin heart is considered a delicacy.
Aw,
Puffins,
man.
aren't they endangered? Stop that, Iceland.
They are now. Raw puffin
I mean,
heart.
I've eaten a lot of things,
God.
but I don't know if I could eat raw puffin heart.
I couldn't
Yeah,
eat
that's-
cooked puffin heart. It's puffins.
Yeah, and they wonder why the puffins don't come when they're called.
Yeah, that's why. They're going to bite right into my chest.
Yeah, just a
Well,
little
just like
bit
they did to
closer there,
Harold.
puffin. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
puffins are so cute. Why? Oh, no, I really
They
am
are
against
cute.
this eating animal thing now. I mean, I have been for a long time, but yeah, it's not a good idea to.
I still eat animal products, but I think raw puffin heart is a bridge too far even for me.
You know, in the United States, raw puffin heart would be a cereal.
They do have puffins.
Wait a minute, let me make that into an Icelandic joke. In the United States, raw puffin heart would be a cereal. Wow, well, you guys, that was so informative. I would really like to go to Iceland, and I just want to say to the potential 1 or 2 Icelandic listeners that we might possibly have, which is when I go there, can I stay with you? That's what I'd like to say.
All right, well, Tony, it's time for you to choose your best of the last ones because we're running out of time for your report.
I know. There's so many. Okay, I thought this was interesting. First names not previously used in Iceland must be approved by the Icelandic Naming Committee.
Wow.
Wow, and they say they don't have a sense of humor.
Isn't that weird?
That's why there's no girls. That's why there's no girls there named Apple.
Well, now that you put it that way.
Yeah. I like the idea of just making up a name from sort of whole cloth that doesn't mean anything at all. But
Well,
apparently
you'd be in a slammer in Iceland if you did that.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I'd have to hide my frozen baby. Wow, that's a weird. And do we know how many first names they, so the book of names in Iceland is like some serious shit. They're not just suggestions.
No, you have to pick.
It's like the 10 Commandments or something, right?
Yeah, so it's
It's like there's 100 boys' names and 10 of them are Torvald. All right, and Toni, before we put a ribbon on this and thank everybody, how many listeners do we have in Iceland?
That's an interesting question because we don't actually know the answer.
No.
Well,
Do they have a law forbidding data?
No, it's because I don't know how to access it, and Bonnie Burns doesn't know the answer either. So we don't know.
All right. I have a way we can find out. Everyone in Iceland, within the sound of my voice, if you could just go on our Facebook page, and let's try to.
Oh yeah.
Nice Danish
We're
there.
cultivating listeners.
God.
Yeah, I was trying to translate. If you could just go, I'm kidding, Iceland. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If you could just go on our Facebook page and count yourselves, we would really appreciate it because we would love to have you.
Stand up and be counted. Iceland, we love you. And let me just say, and I'm sure Paul's going to agree, Toni and Bonnie, that was a stunningly good report.
Thank
It was
you.
an excellent report. Yeah, and the visuals.
I bet Land might know how many. He probably knows how to find out how many listeners we have.
Oh, Land's looking.
Romo's looking it up.
Paula and Adam, we have 3 listeners in Iceland.
Yes, I knew
Yeah.
it. Okay, well, somebody from Iceland email us where do they email us so we can call them?
Nobody listens to Paula Poundstone at gmail.com.
There you go.
And you know what? That's a wonderful segue to everybody's favorite part of the show, which is the promotions. Paula, what do you have going on in the Poundstone product empire this week?
Adam, who hasn't dreamed of showing up at their virtual Thanksgiving dinner wearing a remarkably soft tri-poly blend t-shirt in a baseball or standard style with a self-portrait on the left breast and a memorable quote on the back? Well, that dream is within your grasp, nobodies. Go to paulapoundstone.com and click on the store tab. Watch some RX laughter videos while you're at it.
Nice. And I just want to remind everybody that the Starburn Sports simulcast featuring Jeff Cesario and me has now moved into the world of football. So if you want to watch your Thursday night football, but with comedy commentary, just watch it on Fox, but navigate over to starburnsports.com on your tablet or phone or whatever else you get to the internet with, and you'll hear us announcing the game in simulcast. All right.
Wait a minute,
if you
Fox
want to
has
enter
football? Fox has football?
Yes.
So what is it, like Sean Hannity and Chris Wallace playing football?
You know what? It's not, because it's not Fox News. It's Fox the network.
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although that I would pay to watch Sean Hannity get tackled by Tucker Carlson or the other way around.
Yeah, I was going to say that but if it's not those guys playing, then it'll be a lot more funny if they listen to you guys do the commentary.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, if you want to enter a theme song contest, send your song to us at nobodylistens@gmail.com. Once again, that's where Iceland can get in touch with us too. Once again, nobodylistens@gmail.com. That's our show. Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone is hosted by Paula Poundstone and yours truly, Adam the Felber. Special thanks to our guest, Jarrett Walker, who walked to get here. And thanks to our house band, Christin, Phelps, Webb. Our show is produced by Paula Poundstone, Adam Felber, Bonnie Burns, Ken Lezebnik, and Toni Anita Hull. Mixing by Michael Hoagie. Starburn's production by Land Romo. And our former intern, who we've more or less forgotten about by now, is Doug. was Doug. Transcription services for the show provided by TranscribeMe, a premier internationally used transcription service. Use code Paula Poundstone when placing your order at transcribeme.com to receive an expedited service.
That's our show for tonight. Won't somebody please listen to me? Wow. You know what? We have, in the last, say, how long we've been doing this podcast, Adam?
Couple years.
Yeah. I would say that in the last couple of years, we have doubled our listenership in Iceland.
Oh, easily. It's because of our deep knowledge of their culture and the way that they respond to our sense of humor.
Our sense of humor. I just want to throw one in for them. Yeah.
Pardon me, boy. Is this the road to the Penis Museum?
You can go all the way around Iceland on one road. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna use that road in my Winnebago.
That's a noble dream, Paula Poundstone.
It is. I want to take up less space. That's one of my goals. Take up
mine
less
too,
space.
but it's more of a dieting thing I'm trying to do.
Oh yeah. Boy, I ate so much junk food today. Without you guys to help me clear away the food in the middle of the table, whew, I was just taking care of it myself.
Starburns Audio, a podcast network.